There's something coming on the horizon in a few months' time, but the question remains, what makes a good player? Hello and welcome to this week's episode of How to Be a Great GM. My name is Guy, and we're tackling that question of what makes a good player. And there's a reason for that. In a couple of months' time, there is going to be a new Kickstarter. My new book is coming out for kickstarting, I suppose you could say, and it's going to be dropping in November. Now, that book is packed with everything that I feel a good player should know or be aware of or thinking about. And so today's video is basically the 3 critical things that I think that every good player should be looking at every single time they sit down at the table. Before we get going, hit that like button or subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We would love to have you as part of our group so that you get alerted to new videos and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's talk about them. The first thing, of course, rules knowledge. In the past, I've been very forgiving about rules knowledge. When it comes to GMs, I've been very, very forgiving about rules knowledge. I will admit, I don't know the rules myself. Not immediately, instantly, and for every character build that you can have. I don't know it. I really don't know it. But the players should. So your responsibility as a player is to create a character. The character, of course, is built around multiple things. There's you creating the actual essence of the character, the backstory, who they are, their personality, all those kinds of wonderful things. But at the same time, you are also responsible for mechanically building them within the system that you have agreed to with the GM. What this means is that you, and only you, are responsible for understanding how your character works. To expect the GM to know, oh, well, you're building that particular class, and you've got that subgroup, and you've got that sub, and you've got that. To expect the GM to know those things and go, oh, yes, this is how it works, I'm afraid is just not practical. You, on the other hand, are only learning the rules for your character. So when you see an ability or a power that reads in a certain way and you don't understand it, it is your responsibility to go and figure it out. And if you can't, there are thousands of YouTube channels out there who will happily answer the question that you are asking and give you advice on how best to implement it and maximize it and minimize it and why you shouldn't take it and why you should take it and all those kind of wonderful things. There is plenty of reasons and resources for you to go and get to learn how your character works. Because when you sit down at the table and you go, okay, I'm playing this new character, I've never played this class before, so forgive me. Everyone goes, yes, sure, we forgive you. But after the first hour and you're still going, oh, I don't know what the attack is of my character because I think I get to add this, but then I don't get to add that. When the other players at the table who have not played your character, who did not create your character, when they know how your character works more than you do, that's a problem. That is a problem, and that rests squarely with you. So if you are not learning the rules for your character, well, that's trying to play a game of tennis without learning the rules of tennis, and then complaining that you don't know when to do things. It doesn't make sense. Number 2, you need to engage with the game. Now, I know this sounds straightforward, right? You need to ask questions. You need to meet NPCs. You need to look around. You need to explore the game world. You need to engage in that game world. This is critical. A lot of players are very passive and they're like, yeah, I'm there. I'm walking along. This is me walking. Okay, cool. There's a thing. I hit it. I kill it. I do the thing. I do the other thing. I do the next thing and it's dead. Woohoo! Moving on. That's not engaging with the game world at all. That's just killing imaginary monsters with imaginary numbers. It makes no difference. Go play a computer game. Go play a war game, for example, where the story is not important. But if you're not engaging with the world space, why are you playing? You're not a good player if you are not making that world space come alive. Do you smell that? The bakery is making hot cross buns. They're my favorite. Well, apart from goblin buns, but I doubt they'll make goblin buns there. You don't have to do it for every single step and every single moment, but making the world feel alive, engaging with the world, pretending that the world is real, sits on you. The GM will describe, you have to take it and run with it and develop it and use it. And then the third point, this is a very short video today. Third point is you have to socially engage. This is something that blows my mind time and time and time and time and time again. Players sit there, they've got knowledge, they've been doing interrogations, they've been reading, they've been doing research, they've been listening in at taverns, they've been engaging with the world. They know the rules mechanics. So they're really, really solid players. But then they go, all right, so what do we know? And before everybody has had a chance to say what they know, someone is ignoring all of that and going, well, I think it's this, and I'm not going to listen to anybody else. They don't even say that they're not even going to listen to anybody else. They've already shut down because they're not socially engaging. So instead of finding solutions to problems that you perceive to be there, when you are talking with your fellow player characters, sit down and say, folks, what do we know? What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? And if you make notes about what they know and you put it into order, you'd be amazed at how much of the hard work of solving the mystery, the riddle, the adventure immediately evaporates because now you've got it all in front of you. And it's because you have engaged with your fellow player characters and your fellow players, and you have got them to talk to you and to share with you. Now, if you are listening to this video and you're like, this is nothing new. If that's what your book is about, I'm not going to buy your book. Absolutely. If you are doing all three of these things, you're already a good player. Now, if you want to become a great player, well, that's what the other 300 pages of the book is about, right? Primarily, a good player is somebody who engages with the table, engages with the people around the table, and knows how to engage with them. That's the bottom line. Probably should have said that right at the front of the video. Anyway, you watched all the way to the end, so you get the summary. There you go. Remember, if you want to suggest videos, join us on discord.com. No, join us on discord.gg/greatgm, and you can propose videos and say, hey, I've got this question. What's the solution? How do I do this? What do I do this? And where do I do this? Where do I do that? For more information on the Kickstarter and all that kind of stuff, watch our socials, or of course, continue to watch this channel. And until next time, I wish you and yours the very happiest of gaming.